The Chicago Bulls played their second preseason game tonight, their first at home, against the Memphis Grizzlies. It was a tough game, close game at the end, but the Bulls ended up losing 123 to 121. There were some really nice moments from some of the Bulls starters, as well as some nice moments from some of the Bulls rotational pieces, and even the guys who are fighting for roster spots. Let's get into all of it. Make sure to follow me at Shy Sports Ross on all the platforms. I appreciate you guys doing that. You probably saw posting about the score bug, which they ended up changing for this game, so quick note on that. They have fixed the score bug. It is no longer vertical, and it's no longer in a weird part of the screen. So minor thing fixed. They still haven't fixed the TV contract thing. Different discussion though, of course. So main points, let's get to him. Zach Lavine, early momentum. He was looking good in this game. Lavine was looking sharp. He looked healthy. He looked quick. He ended up with 28 points. So he went on a little bit of a flamethrower run. He was 6 for 6 from 3. He also had 4 assists and 2 steals. So a nice game from Zach. We love to see Zach playing at his best headed into the regular season. Along with him, I thought that Josh Giddey looks pretty good in this game. He hit a 3. Shooting wasn't totally pretty. He was only 3 for 10 from the field, but he did have some really nice assists. He was setting up his teammates well and even played some really good defense. He had 2 blocks. So more good stuff coming out of Giddey. I thought that Patrick Williams, unfortunately, did not look really good as opposed to his counterparts on the starting lineup. Same thing, Ayo Dosunmu started tonight in place of Kobe White, who was sitting due to a minor injury. But weirdly enough, Ayo Dosunmu ended up leaving at halftime with his own injury. I thought that both Ayo and Pat were underperforming and looking sloppy. Ayo had some bad turnovers. Pat has just not hit many shots. Pat is shooting 3 for 15 overall from the field. He's yet to hit a 3-pointer in the preseason, so just really lackluster performance out of him, who might also be dealing with an injury from what I understand, so we're waiting to hear more on that. And if I have any updates, I'll definitely share them on Twitter. But for the most part, it felt like the starters were getting their groove. We like to see some good performances from guys like Julian Phillips and Dalen Terry. I thought Julian Phillips might have had the best game out of anyone, even with Zach going off for 28 points. Phillips finished with 21 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, and he was 5 for 8 from 3, 7 for 12 from the field overall in 27 minutes. A really consistent performance. It felt like you could rely on Phillips whenever we needed a bucket. He was there in the corner for a 3. He also had a couple really nice dunks. So just a good performance all around for Julian Phillips, who's looking to maybe break out this season. Modest Buzelis, the rookie, tough performance for him. He didn't make a shot until the very end of the game. It was a 3-pointer though. He did have a block early on Zach Giddey, which was great. He was also hitting the boards, but like I said, overall, just not showing us a whole lot. And as a rookie, it's understandable. He's still looking for his place in this roster. I felt like he was taking good shots in rhythm, and those will start to fall for him eventually. But the standout of the bench performers, I think, was Talen Horton-Tucker. I think in terms of, who ends up making that final roster spot, we did see Chris Duarte, we did say DJ Stewart, we did not see Onerlat Batim, we did not see Kenneth Lofton or EJ Liddell. But with that said, I thought Talen Horton-Tucker, between the first preseason game and now the second preseason game, has shown a lot of promise. I feel like he's becoming a lock for that final roster spot. Tonight, he ended up with 16 points. He was 5 for 10 from the field, 2 for 4 from 3. I also felt like he was distributing and handling the ball well. He had 3 steals, so he was playing well defensively for sure, and 2 assists. But like I said, I felt like he was distributing and handling the ball very well, which wasn't something that I was expecting the Bulls to really ask much of him. We do have other more ball dominant guards on the roster, but it was a good game for him, and he was playing alongside some vets. Torrey Craig and Javon Carter ended up getting involved in the game, especially in the second half. Torrey Craig played quite a few minutes there at the end, and I ended up kind of liking that lineup with Talen Horton-Tucker kind of distributing the ball and, playing some good defense. So it did come down to the end of the game between the Bulls and Grizzlies. The Bulls fought hard to fend them off, but the Grizzlies just kept pushing and made the comeback eventually. But yeah, top to bottom, I still think this was a good game. It was a loss. It was tough to see them lose right at the end there when they had a chance to make the comeback. A couple bad turnovers, a couple bad shots, but they were there and they were close to bridging that gap. It was kind of like a back and forth where, the Bulls had a lead for most of the game. The Grizzlies come back at the end, and then the Bulls try to come back from the comeback, and it just wasn't enough. But overall, I think we saw good performances from numerous Bulls players, especially our star Zach Lavine. It's great to see him playing his best. Hope he continues that momentum into the season and we can see, how some of these rotations start to shake out. I felt like Giddey and Lavine were playing their best ball on the court together. There were quite a few lineups that I was seeing that I thought, oh yeah, I could totally see the Bulls going to that in the regular season. Like there was one lineup at one point, which I think it was Giddey, Lavine, Torrey Craig, Javon Carter, and Nikola Vucevic. That's the kind of lineup that I could see Billy Donovan going to quite a bit. There's a mix of shooting and playmaking. You have young and old, veteran and youth with Giddey. I felt like the Bulls were passing the ball even better than they had been in previous games. I felt like overall the defense was actually really solid tonight. There were some defensive lapses for sure, but Dalen Terry was playing well on both ends. Julian Phillips, I mentioned him earlier. I felt like he was playing really well. There's not a whole lot more to say. Still a preseason game. Felt like we got some good looks at a lot of these players, and we're learning more about the bottom half of the roster and kind of how that's going to shake out. So like I said, just to recap, I feel like Talen Horton-Tucker has kind of solidified himself as the guy to beat for that last roster spot between him, Chris Duarte, DJ Stewart, Onuralp Batim, and so forth. Zach Lavine looked great, which is a great sign headed into the regular season. And there was some lackluster play from players like Patrick Williams and Ayo Dosunmu, who we hope both are okay and healthy and will be ready to go for the next game, which we're looking forward, hopefully, is the return of Lonzo Ball. We're all waiting with bated breath when that's going to be. So hopefully it's the next game. Hopefully we get to see him on Monday in Milwaukee against the Bucks, which is our next game and which is when I will talk to you guys again. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to follow at Shy Sports Ross on all the platforms, and we will talk again very soon.